Mike's on. All right, I will call the meeting to order. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, liberty.
All right. First, I'd like to make a note. Executive sessions were held on 5/28, as well as prior to this evening's meeting for legal and labor issues. Next on the agenda, we opening comments. Commissioner Evans.
Welcome, everyone. Glad you could join us this evening. Our meetings continue to be a place to hear and be heard where we all can be a part of the solution. Just a reminder, your questions or statements regarding agenda items only will be entertained under citizens to be heard. All other matters will be recognized at the end of the meeting during public comment. For the past 4.5 years, this board has provided opening comments at the top of our meetings. What started out as a way of ensuring our residents that we were not the great and powerful Oz, but rather employees of the citizenry, here to work with them openly and honestly, has over time evolved into a living thing. Like all living things, the messaging grew and changed in accordance with the needs of any given day. Good, bad, scary, promising, celebrations, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on, but above all, it has been a steady reminder to be kind to each other. And like all living things, the end comes. The board at this point has determined that they're no longer necessary. Achieved our goals of bonding and getting things on a better, more even keel with people moving forward. Each one of us will share a month, take a month to open up with a hello to you all. So tonight will be the last time we open our meetings with this simple thought, but I hope you'll carry it all with you every day. When we all work together, there's nothing we can't do. So spread kindness, everyone. Anger, grudges, and resentments are not worth our time or energy. Compassion, peace, and love, these are what make the world go round.
Thank you, Commissioner Evans. All right. Next on the agenda is citizens to be heard. Do we have any here in the township building at this time? With no hands raised, do we have anyone in Zoom? And then she put it down, or we can ask. It's a positive accident. Dawn, are you there?
Sorry, I must have hit it by mistake. I have nothing to add except thanks for those great opening comments, Mark.
Yes, Dawn. We can see you there, but we don't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
It says she is talking, but nothing. Do we have volume?
I'm so sorry to use up your time. I hit it by mistake. Thank you for the opening comments.
Yeah, we don't hear it.
Okay. Hey, Dawn, if you have a comment later, feel free to raise your hand. With no other citizens to be heard, we can move on to awards and presentation. We have an award for Isabel Clark. Is it Isabel Clark? Isabel, how are you? Hi. What this is, Isabel has volunteered on the Park and Rec committee. She has offered her time for this township to help us out. Where am I going with my thought here? But it's only been about 2 years, I believe. Unfortunately, she's moving out of the township, so she is no longer allowed to be part of the committee, but she has stated that she will be here helping us out in the future. So, but I know you work directly with Ms. Kennedy as well as Abby, and I would like them to just say a few words about you.
Good evening. I just want to, give you well wishes
for all the new things that you endeavor, and we're definitely losing the gym. I don't want to see you at Valley Township. No, I'm just kidding. But I know that's your passion, and it will follow you wherever you go. So thank you for all that you've done to make Callan a much more beautiful place to live.
I second everything that Jane said. Isabel's been, when I looked up how long she had been on the board, I was shocked because it feels probably to you as well that it's been much, much longer than 2 years. But just full of great ideas. She's also been essential at bringing the rest of us back down to earth when necessary. She has tons of experience working with kids and programming, and she spends all day doing that and then volunteers to come and help us do it some more. So I think that's pretty amazing, and we're really going to miss you. Thank you.
Isabel. And just so everyone knows, sometimes volunteering your time and service for a township committee is thankless, but here we can actually give you a certificate to say thank you for all your time served here in the township. But you can hold on to it, look at it, enjoy it.
Thank you.
All right. It's a long meeting. All right. Yeah. I feel bad I didn't sign it. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have the township solicitor, Ms. Camp.
Thank you. The first, there's two items dealing with Bondsville Road Realty Ventures LLC. That entity owns two parcels of property that are at 415 Bondsville Road. The property is in the R4 medium to high density residential district. In 2013, the Board of Commissioners approved a conditional use decision and order that allowed the property owner to build a senior independent living facility with 57 units. Subsequent to receiving conditional use approval, the developer took that plan through preliminary land development approval and then also final land development approval. So in December, I think it was December, actually June, I'm sorry. Let me go back to my date. September of 2017 was received preliminary land development approval, and June of 2018 received final land development approval. The developer did not started some of the work with respect to stormwater management, did not substantially complete the public improvements. The township zoning ordinance has a provision that basically says that the conditional use approval expires if an applicant does not secure a building permit, or if no building permit is required, a use and occupancy permit within 12 months of the board's decision, but it does grant the board the ability to extend that time frame for the validity of a conditional use order. The applicant wrote a letter in February of 2024 asking the board to consider extending the conditional use approval. The applicant is here represented by counsel Gina Gerber. They indicated in the correspondence of February of 2024 that COVID was part of the delay, what put the project on hold. And the first request is that the board extend the conditional use approval. When this letter was written in February, and I believe the applicant came to your February 29th meeting to explain a little bit more about the delay, they were asking the extension to go through March 1st, 2025. And I had suggested to the board that given the time since the February letter, a year, if they are willing to grant an extension, maybe the year time frame would work. That would take it to May 29th of 2024. So that's the first issue that's before you.
All right, commissioners, any questions on this? None at this time. Residents here in the township building, any questions? None here in the township. Any on Zoom? All right. Well, there is? Yes, Mark, welcome.
Good evening. This matter was in front of
Who's
the zoning
talking?
hearing.
We do not hear.
Was the problem with the last one too,
Can you hear me?
and with the problem on our end.
Mark, we see, says you're talking, but we hear nothing here in the township.
Yeah. Well, that's the same problem the other resident had because I heard her. I heard her speak, so she probably can hear me if she's still on. Well,
So working. Whoa, okay.
hello.
Mark, apologize. We are having trouble hearing you. Still working it on our end. Good. You can hear me,
I can hear you.
just not from Zoom.
Can you hear me?
Still working on the technical difficulty.
Can you type in the chat? Type in the comments, maybe read it.
Mark, can you try saying something again?
He's gone.
I think he may he may have exited the meeting, but can you hear me?
Yeah. But
Ross, we can hear you just slightly.
Okay. Can you hear me a little bit better now?
A little bit better.
Well, if I
I mean, one other thing you could do, Abby, is have somebody call your cell, put yourself up to the speaker.
Not gonna work.
They should just put it in the chat. Type it in the chat if they have a comment.
And Mark, if you can hear me, suggestion is being made to type your question in the chat. Maybe we can answer it through that way. Testing. You see somebody typing testing? No.
Would somebody who zoomed in mind trying to type something in the chat just to test so we can see if we receive it?
Abby, this is Ross. I typed a few things into the chat. I'm not sure if you received them.
Barely hear him. Right?
What I said about Ross is he could call cell phone and you could put him up. Yeah.
Hey, Abby.
We can.
If the people online want to try, you can email me and I will read your question and then we can answer it. So my email is jyoung@callantownship.org.
Chat should be enabled now for the residents.
They said the chat's still not working.
A little bit different. Of course, now it's going to type everything that I say.
Everything you say is.
So I need to watch everything that I say.
Michael.
Maybe a good idea to turn that feature on. Exactly. We cannot hear anyone on Zoom. Oh, we did? To be able to read it, but what is the reasoning behind it? They can hear us in Zoom. Okay.
Yes, we hear everybody fine in the Zoom world.
Okay. All right. So we can continue. Unfortunately, we may be limited on Zoom feedback. This will be different. Let's swing it. All right. Unfortunately, we're not able to attend to any of the Zoom comments. But we do have a motion here to approve the Bondsville Road Realty Ventures request to extend their conditional use approval for the senior independent living facility located at 415 Bondsville Road until, did we decide on March 1st? Or we were,
I had suggested if the applicant, because the time frame, the delay in when the letter was sent till now, a 1-year time frame may be appropriate, but that's up to the board. So we would say till May 28th, 2025,
well, today's May 30th.
or May 29th, then I'm sorry. So 1 year would be May 29th, 2025.
Okay.
May 30th.
All right, well, with that motion, I entertain a motion to approve that.
What?
Just a year from today's date.
2025. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The second part of the Bondsville Road Realty Venture request is, as I mentioned, they did obtain preliminary land development approval.
Scamp, I'm sorry, did we not have a full vote here?
Yeah, I didn't vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, I could have sworn I heard something.
Yeah,
Okay, so
no.
we have 4 yays and Mark, what are you voting, nay or?
I'm gonna have to vote.
Okay, 4-1, motion still passes.
Okay.
Okay.
So the second is the applicant has requested that the board agree to extend the life of the land development approval. So the state law says that the once an applicant receives preliminary land development approval, they have a period of 5 years to substantially complete the improvements. As I mentioned in the introductory remarks, the applicant has not substantially completed the improvements, but the law does allow an applicant to ask the board to extend that time frame. I want everyone to understand that when the 5-year window expires, and that's 5 years starts from the date of preliminary plan approval, it does not render null and void the approval. It means that the applicant would have to go back, if the board doesn't extend it, would have to go back and bring the plan current to any ordinances that were adopted since the date of preliminary plan application. So the applicant has asked the board if you would agree to extend the time frame on the validity of the plan, basically, and not require them to have to comply with ordinances that have been adopted by the board since the date of preliminary plan application. So that's the request.
Commissioners, any questions?
And I will also add that Ray and I have had some conversations and did a little bit of research in terms of what ordinances were adopted that would affect the plan. And the only one that we're really aware of is the stormwater management ordinance. So that's the biggest change. The board adopted a new stormwater management in 2022.
Yeah, I just had a couple of comments, not so much questions. I like you, and you know I like the you know your love for historic preservation, and I respect what you want to do. However, the location there, had I been on the board in 2013 when it was discussed, or in 2016 when it was approved, and I know I don't have any control over what happened then, but seeing how climate change has affected the township here, I moved here in 2017, and I've seen it decline in a horrible way, and I've seen. I would have never approved what got you here. You know, I want you to do something here. I worry too much for the people on Park Drive who, you know, Paul Mullen and I were out giving, relief packages to after Ida, and the people behind the Thorndale Inn and down the road. What you've got going on there, what anyone does when you disturb the earth and you disturb the water flow, it goes north, south, east, and west, not just within your, one controllable piece of land. So, since stormwater has changed, and I know you did some very robust stormwater planning back then, Since it has changed, I'd be much more comfortable of going through the process with our new ordinance in effect.
If you can, come up to the
Oh,
mic,
yeah.
please. Just name.
Yes.
We have on our end, our professionals have looked at the new ordinances with regards to stormwater,
Mhm.
and we do meet those ordinances by and large with our plan. Mr. McClintock, who was the former engineer, made us kind of over-engineer at the time, and we fought him at the time. But I thank him now because we do fit that peg into that hole.
The commissioners' comments?
It is. It's all.
This will be interesting. I agree with Commissioner Evans. And looking at this whole project here with the new stormwater management requirements, even though you say most likely what you've done is equivalent to what is needed present day, which may make your process a little bit easier, but I think for the residents and for the township, my suggestion would be to deny this section of it, just to go back through it, just to make sure that the stormwater management is taken care of properly. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but I think we are obligated to protect our residents. The stormwater is an issue throughout this entire township. In fact, the two people behind you, I know for a fact, are going to come up later and talk to me about their stormwater issues. So this is why it's very, very important. Hopefully, what you've done is just going to get you through the process a little bit quicker. But that's my 2 cents. Anyone else has, commissioners, any other comments?
No.
Not, I'll reach out to the residents here. Not see any hands raised here in the township building yet. Any in Zoom world?
Yes.
Well,
Maybe
can we get?
We might get their typing.
Are they typing?
Yeah.
Ms. Pauling, if you can shoot Josh an email. Commissioner Young, email. Assume it would be a sentence. I hate to drag this out. If we do receive it, we can always come back to the comment. Okay. So Cheryl, if you're still typing, continue that. Just shoot the email to Commissioner Young. That works as well. Cheryl?
Call my phone. I'll put you on the microphone. If you hear this.
Never had this done.
Hi, Cheryl. I'm going to put you on the microphone here.
Thank you.
You're on.
Okay. Your entire system is dead. I can't type to you. I can hear everyone who is talking to you, and I can hear you talking. But I can't communicate with you except by phone. So, I applaud you for suggesting that you deny approval of that project and sending the developer back through the process. We all know that flooding in that area has been a serious and reasonably serious concern of everyone who lives there. And flooding is not getting better. So I'm happy to see you do that. That was my comment.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thanks, Cheryl. Mark Fox, you want to call me too?
Did he have his hands raised at that time?
He did at the beginning of this.
But it was for another item. No other hands raised? And then I will entertain a motion to not approve Bondsville Road Realty Ventures request to extend the 5-year window to sustain that word?
Substantially.
Thank you. Complete the improvements from the approved final land development plan for the 415 Bondsville Road.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Young. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And motion's good. Good. 5-0. Do apologize, but I think it is in the best interest of the township at this time. Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
The next action under mine is the mobile food facilities ordinance. This is something I know you've been working with Ray very carefully on. All we did was take the language that you had previously approved and we put it into an ordinance format. That's really all we're doing. We're creating a new chapter of the county code, chapter 100, and we're putting it into section numbers the way we typically see your chapters in your code book. So the action item would be to authorize this to be advertised, and it could be adopted at your, I don't know which meeting you want to do it. I think you do usually do it at your second meeting. So you could advertise it for your meeting in June.
We've dwelled over this a bit too long, but if everyone's happy with the final result, we definitely want to thank our township manager and Ray for finally putting this all together. Different angle, worked out good. Commissioners, any comments? At this time, residents here in the township building? No hands raised in Zoom world? No hands raised. All right, entertain a motion to advertise. Advertise, okay. So moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's good, 5-0.
That's all I have. So thank you very much and good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you very much, Kristen.
Thank you, Chris.
We're going to get our engineer on the phone.
Looking at like clockwork, he calls. All right. Oh, I forgot you can hear what I'm saying. Yeah. You got to mute yourself, Ross.
Okay.
On your computer.
I am disabled on my computer. Oh, I got to turn my speakers off. Okay. Yes, I'll hear you through the phone. Okay. Sorry about that.
Welcome, Ross.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay, or should I speak up more?
No, you're good to go.
Okay, great. All right, thanks. So, the first order of business for this evening is the 2024 road program. So you'll probably recall that last meeting, we discussed the scope of that program. So the Suzanne Drive, Morgan Drive, Longview Drive, and Ridgeview Drive. So that's all the same as we previously discussed, and we would be seeking your approval to go ahead and put this out to bid. And just one slight deviation from the package that we sent you, based on some feedback that we've received from PennDOT today, that we'd asked them a while ago and they finally got back to us. We would be looking to publish the advertisement the first time on June 6th rather than June 3rd, as noted in that proposed bidding schedule.
What day was that? June 6th?
As opposed to June 3rd.
Oh, okay, just 3 days later. All right. That was the big update. Commissioners, any questions on that? This is just, this encompasses all four. We have three roads under the base bid, then the one alternative.
That's correct. There's 3 roads in the base bid and an ad alternate for Suzanne Drive. But as Commissioner Young was mentioning last meeting, even if there was a slight shortfall in the liquid fuels funds, it would make sense to just make up that balance with the general fund. So we would anticipate that the ad alternate would likely be accepted.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense since they're right there. All right, entertain a motion to approve the Gilmore and Associates to put the 2024 road program out to bid per the attached dates, maps, and cost estimates.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion's good, 5-0. Next item, Ross?
Thank you. Yes, so the next item is the Reed Street project. So just to give you an update, that's the bulk of the work is complete and they're just cleaning up some punch list items now. So it looks like we're on track to come in just slightly under budget on the original bids. So that seems to be working out well. And this, in front of you tonight, is a request to authorize their payment request number 8 in the amount of $215,000. Sorry, $215,432.40 payable to Foresight Concepts for the Reed Street Drainage Project.
Commissioners, any questions on this? Okay. Residents, any questions? None here in the township building? Any in Zoom? Not at this time? I'm just looking at the diagram. All right, entertain a motion to approve payment number 8 in the amount of $215,432.40 for Foresight Concepts, Reed Street Drainage.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion's good, 5-0. Yeah, next.
Thank you. Yep. And so the next item is an update on the Spackman David's farmhouse roof project. So we've been working on updating the design plans and specifications. So if you can see, I'm not sure if the screen is showing, but you can see that we've updated to the metal roof strategy that we discussed. And then also been working on some of the anchoring details for the porch to the structure. And so the update I wanted to give you is that the whole bid package should be ready for your next meeting. So at next meeting, we anticipate we'd be requesting authorization to put it out to bid. And then if that is granted, we would be putting it up, like the next day after next meeting.
Okay, great update. Yes.
Thanks, Ross.
Appreciate the work on this.
Sure.
All right.
All right, I'm hanging up on you now.
Take care, Ross.
Oh, we have
one more thing,
Oh.
Ross.
the
We do?
grant.
No, that's next.
Is that it,
Oh.
Suzanne?
Township manager.
Okay.
All right. Next on the agenda, Township manager. Gilmore and Associates grant opportunity.
Good evening, commissioners. Good evening, public. And want to say apologize for those on Zoom. We will be getting this resolved well before the next meeting. Technology is great when it works, and when it doesn't, especially in public meetings, it can be frustrating. So thank you, everyone, for your patience, and we'll have someone in first thing in the morning to take care of this. I have a number of items here this evening. The first, let's start out with some good news, at least preliminarily. As you recall, several meetings ago, I received approval to submit a pre-application, a scoping application for the ARLE grant fund. That's funded out of the red light enforcement in the city of Philadelphia. We submitted for 2 locations on Lincoln Highway. Those locations, and I want to thank the chief for his support, have been problematic with pedestrian cyclists, primarily due to limited lighting and inadequate pedestrian access. The application was for just shy, the preliminary application was for just shy of $500,000 for improvements at these two locations. We received feedback from PennDOT, essentially a green light and a red light program to proceed with the full application. The first item on my list here, Ross provided initial preliminary support on cost estimates and technical matters associated with the pre-scoping application. This would be to establish a PSA for any sort of enhanced technical support and any meetings that we have to meet with PennDOT or meetings in general. The amount is not to exceed $3,000, and we'll move forward with the deadline is end of June.
Commissioners, any questions on that?
Congratulations. Hard work. Thank you.
Residents, any questions? None here in the township building, in Zoom. Yeah, entertain a motion to approve Gilmore and Associates for the not to exceed cost of $3,000.
So moved.
Second.
Well worth it. Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. Next, we have Park and Rec designation. I guess we need to just accept it.
This is to formalize as alluded to earlier with the award
She
presentation.
just
but,
ran. Did you see that?
Now.
She's very busy.
She just, yeah.
But we did receive a letter on May 1st from Isabel Clark indicating that she would be unfortunately needing to resign from the position, and this would be to formally accept that letter of resignation.
And if we don't accept, she has to stay in Count Township.
Yeah. Yes, be nice.
Well, I know she's going to be back. All right, commissioners, any questions on this? If not, entertain a motion to accept.
Move.
It's moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Young. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. Thank you so much, Isabel, for all your work, wherever she is. All right, we do have an appointment. Action item here.
Yeah, vacuums are filled quickly. We do have an applicant that is interested in filling those shoes. The board had the opportunity to meet with this individual, Katie Bruchella, earlier, and the board is eligible to appoint this individual to the board to fill that open vacancy.
Commissioners, any comments, questions?
Be a great addition.
We had a lovely interview prior to tonight's meeting with her. I think she's just going to fit in just great. She already has friends on the board.
Yep.
And she is definitely
Hit the
looking forward
ground.
to hit the ground running.
All
So-
yours, Abby.
The bad. And Liz.
Yes.
Yeah, she spoke very highly of Liz.
Yeah.
All right, no questions here, so I will entertain a motion to appoint Katie Burchell.
Brochel.
She.
Birch.
Brochel.
Brocher.
Brochel.
I apologize. I butcher
brooch.
pretty much every name that comes across my desk.
Like a
So
brooch.
moved.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Motion's good. 5-0.
Great.
Welcome aboard, Katie.
Is she still here? No, she.
I do not believe so.
No, she didn't stay.
Moving right along. Downingtown Library donation.
And I know the first meeting's coming up on Monday. So hit the ground running with the new appointed member. Next we have, and this is no action is required specifically for this item. It was approved in the budget, but it was recommended that we did receive a donation letter from Downingtown Library. And I know in the past, the board has recognized the contributions they provide from the township to support library efforts in Downingtown and Coatesville. And the budgeted amount coming through was $18,150, which is similar to prior years.
I understand our own Commissioner Young is also on the Downingtown Board,
I am.
Library Board. Would you like to make a comment or a statement?
No, since nobody is here from the library, I'll just give a brief. I'll tell you a brief story quickly about something somebody said to me one time. We think about libraries a lot of times as children's books and children activities and things like that. There was a gentleman that one time, this is for the Coatesville Library, but it's always stuck with me, is that the board president saw somebody coming in every day, grabbing the papers, getting on the internet, because there is internet access for people who don't have it at the library. And that gentleman was a convicted felon and struggling to get a job and get his life back in order. And he said without the library, he would have no hope of finding a job or the ability to get himself back on track. So that's what libraries do for the community. Not only do they do children's events, and they do have books and volumes of DVDs and movies, and there's also cards to go to the zoo and things like that. But for a lot of people, the library provides hope and the ability to mobilize themselves again and get back on track. So that story always stuck with me, and that's why I'm on a library board.
Yeah, they're quite a resource center now, to help a lot of people transitions.
And it costs money to put on this. We do get state funding, we get county funding, but we also rely heavily on the municipalities to fund our programs and people to run the library during the day. So, it is a indispensable place in our community.
Because
once they got rid of the card filing system, I could not figure that out to save my life. I'm not wired that way.
Well, thank you, and we will get that payment processed right away.
Excellent.
Perfect. Thank you. I know it would take me forever to find the letter that was sent out. I forget her name, but it was beautifully written. In the one paragraph, I just remember reading it. She described what the library looks like from her desk, the activity going on, and it just the way she wrote it, I could tell she's a writer. You felt like you were in the library.
That's our new director, and she's really hit the ground running, and has some innovative and progressive things that she wants to get done. So, I would keep an eye on the Downingtown Library because we're looking for expansion. The place is so busy all the time. There's no room for other events. And if you've ever been to the library during book sale time, it's absolutely crazy. And they raised about $8,000 selling used books. So the Friends of Downingtown Library put that on, and they graciously donate that money to the library.
It's time for a visit.
Excellent.
All right.
Anytime you want.
Next on the agenda.
Next on the agenda, we have the updated version of the honorary street name designation signs. Following the last meeting, guidance was to request a mock-up of the signs dedicated to, and then the names of the individuals. Copies of these examples are in your packet, and if the board would be interested in action to move this forward, we would be able to place the order. It would take, correct me if I'm wrong, Director Huggins, but approximately a week or two in order to get these back, and then we can schedule a grand unveiling at your convenience.
They look nice.
Those of you in
They look
the
fantastic.
township, it really turned out nice. I think the
Nice
dedicated
job,
to
Mr.
is
Huggins.
growing.
Gonna be blue. It is gonna be blue and white. Blue and
Blue.
white.
Yes.
That was, yes.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Very good job.
Yep.
Commissioners, any other comments on this?
No.
Beautiful.
I just want to ask, if it's not too much to ask, the family will be traveling here from Texas,
Oh, yay.
and they were looking to see if we could accommodate them, possibly in the morning on June 16th, I think she said. June 13th, maybe. Something like that. She gave me a few dates because they're traveling here for a graduation. They don't want to go back to Texas, so if we can get them, I mean, we're talking about a short, maybe 5 minute period of time, 5-10 minutes to get together.
For the
Just to
dedication?
witness
No,
it,
that's,
yeah.
that's a whole afternoon.
No,
That's
it
a
will
big
not
thing.
be
That's
the
a
whole afternoon.
cookies and hot chocolate.
June 13th is a Thursday.
Is that a Thursday?
June
What
16th
is the
is a
16th?
Sunday, and it's
Is that the
Father's
Sunday?
Day.
No, that,
How soon?
What are we looking to do?
Yeah. How soon can you get those in?
The signs?
Yeah.
I can call tomorrow and have them next week.
let me see the dates they sent. Wednesday, June 12th or the 13th. Wednesday or Thursday, the 12th or the 13th of
weeks.
June.
So
All we can do is try.
I can have them.
Yeah, I can make afternoon work. Either of them.
Yeah, I have them for you.
So you think around lunchtime, 11 o'clock, something?
We can set that.
Only because they're traveling out of state. Get a general
Just to
idea.
show them the signs and have them here so they can review them. Is that what we're talking
Or
about?
you're talking about
Yes,
putting them up?
they're
on-
going. She's going to actually going to be here on site to unveil the sign.
They want to have a
So
couple.
they want them installed. Yes, to unveil.
All right. I can
That
make it.
gives us about what, 2 weeks,
Yeah,
two
I
and
can
a half
manage that.
weeks.
And perhaps we can set up a time to sit down and
Yeah, we
discuss
can
what they
discuss
would be
that once
interested
you get them
in.
in and get them installed.
We can make that happen.
Yep.
Jane,
Appreciate it.
I can be available in the afternoon after 12 on Wednesday,
Said the
12th, and I can be anytime on the 13th.
Okay. Wednesday.
As you
What
get-
about you guys? The 12th.
You gonna miss that meeting?
12th was good for you, like at 11 o'clock.
I'm fine, yeah. I'm flexible.
What time? The 12th was good for you, Josh. At 11. You're out of town that week. So what time is this?
We will still need a motion to we will still need a motion to
So far, we're
approve
with the
the
12th.
sign design in order to order them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was just waiting for them to finish off their date there, but
Okay.
I will entertain a motion to approve the honorary street name designation sign.
So moved.
Second.
I moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Can't make it on the 12th.
Motion passes 5-0. Yes, Tony. The names, George Eggleston and Thelma Vaughn. Bishop, George.
Yours is coming, Tony.
No, you get a bench, Tony, on the trail.
I'm on the
You know
trail.
that.
You're not available on the 12th.
Yeah, I can't on
We'll have to see if they can do the 13th.
25107. When you
On the
did this
13th.
Davis, Spackman
Okay,
Davis
for
farm,
11 a.m.
you didn't ask the residents if there's any questions.
And that's in.
We haven't gotten
Which
to that
one?
agenda.
The roof
yet.
project?
That's next. Oh, the roof project?
That was just the update.
A grant for that?
Are we working off of a grant or we're just putting it out to bid?
We are looking at grants, but for this project, it's funded through open space funds, which were received from developers. So it wouldn't be taxpayer. It's funds that were received from any sort of project, and it's a fee in lieu of for open space. So these funds would go towards that.
Thank you, Tony. All right. Next on the agenda, 4.6.
Well, speaking of the Spackman Davis Farm, we have two requests from the Friends of Spackman Davis Farm. The first 4.6 is a request. An application was submitted for an event on June 29th. And a component of the application is a fee based on the number of participants that will be attending the event. In this case, it's up to 150 people. It's $50. 150 to 250 would be 75. There's a request to waive that fee for this case.
Commissioners, any comments? I see we have somebody standing up here in the township building. Did you want to make a comment there?
Good evening. Donna DePrincio.
Yeah,
Representing,
that's easier.
representing the Friends of Spackman Davis Farm, and that is a 501c3. I wanted to, on behalf of the Friends of Spackman Davis Farm, request the fee waiver for the public gathering application. And the Friends of Spackman Davis Farm was formed out of a need to support the township's effort at Spackman Davis Farm, and the township will be the sole beneficiary of a successful event on June 29th. And as a new 501c3, we need all the help we can get to minimize upfront event costs. We hope you approve it.
Thank you, Donna. Any other comments from here in the township building? None at this time.
Oh, just for the record,
Oh,
is,
yes.
is it July 29th or June 29th?
June 29th.
Okay, because it has July on our records.
The next.
Oh,
We're
right.
for the motion, it has July 29th.
No, it's June 29th.
No, but it's, it says July 29th.
Okay. All right. Any comments from Zoom? None at this time.
Just call any one of us if you want to say anything.
As a kind gesture, help out the Friends of Spackman Farm, and for this event, I will entertain a motion to waive the Friends of Spackman Davis Farm public gathering event application fee of $75. I assume
That's what Phineas.
it covers between 250 to 500 visitors.
From a parking standpoint, I don't believe that is a
We're
target.
not- Okay. So $75.
So moved.
All right, so moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Tendero, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we do have 4.7.
4.7 is related to the same event. The township code prohibits alcohol use in public parks unless the board allows that use to occur. There's a request for, my understanding it's wine and cider. Portion of those costs would be used to support the fundraising efforts of the nonprofit. So the request before the board currently would be to allow for alcohol use on this property for the event.
All right, commissioners, any comments?
I don't have a comment, but I have a concern. You know, by doing this, are we gonna open this up so that every time somebody has an event in Callan Township at one of our parks, are they gonna request this and then we deny it for them but we permit it as a use here? I don't know if this is opening up Pandora's box. I'm just concerned because everybody's gonna want to do this. And it'll be the first time that we've done it that I know of.
Jane, we used to have a beer garden at Community Day. So we have sold alcohol.
I understand that community day, but what if somebody else wants to have an event at Municipal
Well,
Park?
that's up to the discretion of the board.
In this particular case, and just be careful just not to wade too far into it. The Historical Commission is connected with this group, so it is free and more along the lines of a community day. So
Well, like I said, I
And
mean,
if I
that
can
was
just,
only my only concern. I'm
No.
not for it or against it one way or the other, but, you know, we're taking on quite a bit of liability, you know, as a body. You know, of course, if anything happens to anyone leaving those grounds intoxicated, you know, how do you control, you know, how much wine someone consumes at these type of events?
Jane, their
Good
permit
question. Yeah.
to sell wine is based on that. You know, if they overserve someone, you know, they still have these organizations still have alcoholic liquor control board permits. So if they overserve someone, they are also on the hook for that.
So they have their own liability
The
to
dress-
do that?
sorry,
Yes.
go ahead.
And they will provide that to our
John
Township?
can speak more to that. but-
In
Commissioner
order to
Kennedy.
serve an offsite for an event of this sort, they would be required to have the proper license through the LCB. They grant a certain number for Pennsylvania-based wineries, breweries, and the like, distilleries. Anyone serving alcohol at any event under one of those satellite licenses would be required to have, I believe it used to be called TIPS trained. It's safe serving standards.
Ramp now,
It's ramp.
RAMP.
I thought they changed it.
Yeah.
But they would be required to have proper coverage and training and certification in order to attend and provide any sort of alcohol at any event anywhere.
And I think that's different than somebody having a family reunion in the park where you're just bringing random people are bringing alcohol and over serving people. These people still
But if
can't.
they wanted to bring a license, provider, then we would have to, they would
I
have to
think
come
if-
before us to get a permit to do that.
Well, they would have to come to us to get that permission.
Right.
But I think for me to approve any kind of thing, it would have to have some kind of community benefit.
And I think this should probably be written in our ordinance somewhere because it's just something new. I just never saw it or read anything about it. So, it's going to be something new and people are going to want to do it all the time. So we just need to set up some kind of standards or codes how what it looks like.
Does Dressler Estates, did they have their ramp training and all the licenses?
Yes, I believe so. And Commissioner Kennedy, I understand your concern. I wanted to just share as far as, the Spackman Davis Farm, the Friends of Spackman Davis Farm are, trying to think of ways to help the farm. And with the big ticket items of repair and replacement of windows, shutters, flooring, the crumbling stone walls, we need big ticket donors. So it is common practice for the nonprofits to generate donations directly and indirectly through the sale of wine and or beer. The wine vendor that we have is Dressler Estates, and they have all the prerequisite licenses, completed state mandated, which is called RAMP, which stands for Responsible Alcohol Management Program. They have the training for that to serve the customers. And they do have a ton of experience in outdoor events and farm markets. So hopefully that helps to.
Well, it does. I mean, it'd be the same if the golf course wanted to do an event,
Sure.
a beer garden. I just think there ought to be something in our codes that govern how these things look. Because they're going to come up.
Codes now.
Yeah, they're about alcohol beverages and what the
Well,
licensing and protection should be.
And at the golf course, we do have a liquor license to serve beer.
Right.
So, we offer alcoholic beverages on that property.
Right. This is nothing towards Spackman Davis Farm. It's just what does it read or look like in the township code and ordinance across the board? Because anybody may come and want to do this over and over and time again. What are our guidelines and ordinances? What it looks like. That's all.
Yeah, I guess anyone who wanted to come before us and ask for it would need to have all the PA licensures and.
Right, but I just said, is
so-
that written in our codes of ethics? That's what I'm saying. Let's make it real.
I
Should
think-
be.
I
so
think
that
it
anybody
should
can
be.
do it.
Should be.
I think the issue here really is the event at Spackman Farm. One is going to be a community event. Two, it's going to be in the middle of June or at the end of June where it's blistering hot. You're going to have alcohol or possibly alcohol there. I don't think this is the right environment. I will say this up front. I am not for this only because I do not believe that these events should have alcohol. These should be community events. The fundraising that you're talking about, the big ticket items, usually end up in a country club somewhere where you have air conditioning and you have a bartender and it's a closed area. Here, you got porta potties you have to walk up the hill to get to. I just don't think that this is the right environment to offer the wine. The cider, I assume the cider is not spiked. Is it?
Yes.
The cider spiked?
Yes.
Okay.
It's brewed. It's
And
like
so it is, it may be hot,
I haven't been to a party in a while, apparently. Yeah.
What were they?
but it's
what were
during
they
the
offering?
daytime. So that's also a good thing that it's during the daytime versus nighttime. But it is a fundraising event for, yeah,
It is a fundraising event, but it's also supposed to be a community event.
of course.
We don't know if you have children there. the adult, the mixture. This is my concern
Right.
about it. It's an outdoor activity. A lot of times, if you have these so-called big ticket donors coming into a party, it's usually in a different venue.
Sure. The thing is, and I'll just say this
Mhm.
and let it be. The vendor that we have, the Dresslers, they have the training and the licenses. So they have things at stake as well. So they're not gonna, risk that either.
They offered, they're selling a glass of wine for $5. They're only keeping the first dollar of it and donating the next $4. In the fundraising world, it's almost said jokingly, but you hand a potential donor a glass of wine, check gets bigger. So a lot of fundraising techniques are been, and frankly, the Spackman, the people from the Spackman family, I won't say anymore. It's almost a necessary piece.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah,
I understand
so
that.
it's,
I've been to auctions.
I don't even
and-
drink, but I see the purpose of it. So,
And once again, if we were indoors or if we were in a different setting, this farmhouse is not really ready for the public. I'm not sure if everyone understands this, because we cannot park on the property. We actually have to park across the street and get on a trolley to come over. This is additional cost. I understand that, but this park, the house still needs work. Of course, that's what the fundraising is for. But there's a lot more involved that needs to be done before we really should be throwing, a lot of events. I mean, this is the beginning of it, and I am for that. I am for the attention to the farm itself, and letting the community know that there's more that's going to happen with this property. But and I'm only one vote, but I'm just stating that I don't think that this time around is the proper time to have alcohol, especially at the end of June, outside. But that's my 2 cents. I'll reach any other comments from commissioners? Nope. Residents? Any comments? How about in Zoom? Donna, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming up and speaking the piece there. But I will entertain a motion to approve the Friends of Spackman Farm alcohol beverage use request for the event held on June 29th.
so moved.
Moved.
Second.
I moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Young. All in favor? Say aye.
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 All opposed? Nay.
Nay.
Are you?
I'm not sure.
So Jane,
I'm gonna
you,
abstain also.
Abstain?
how does that work?
Yeah.
Because
How
technically
does-
we
It's
need
just
3
a nay
votes.
then.
Well, we
You know.
have 2 yes and
If-
1 no. Big. Look, however this ends up going, this was something that was discussed in depth at the last historical commission meeting. You were there,
Mhm.
and boy, you were asked if you had any input or concerns. It would have been great if you had shared that with us, so we had a place to run with. And Lorraine,
I
you've
was
been-
I was the third
Yeah,
commissioner at
yeah.
that meeting. I had no right to say anything.
and
I was mainly concerned.
yeah, you've been in all of the conversations with us
about
for
the
months.
coverage
Yeah,
in terms
Right.
of them drinking, the
Yeah.
heat, and if we would be responsible. That's where my concern
Right.
came in.
Yeah.
Was the main concern.
So the person serving the alcohol would be the liable person.
They would be liable.
Now, eventually, if something happened, of course, everybody gets sued and it's sorted out in court.
Would be
Yes.
But
sued also.
we have coverage to protect us from that.
Yeah.
So I don't do. So there's 2 yeses,
Well,
1 no, and 3 or 2 abstentions.
There's 2 abstentions.
Mm-hmm.
Lorraine said abstain and
I'm
Jane said
abstaining.
abstain. So I think it still has to clear 3 votes, doesn't it?
Definitely does.
An abstention really, to abstain, you have to have some type of
There's a reason.
reason why you're abstaining. So some conflict of interest or things like that. The abstention shouldn't be used just to not vote.
Well, can I call the vote again? See if it comes out different?
That would be yes.
What do we do?
So can we do a roll call vote?
Yeah.
Sure.
Roll call would be great.
We'll do a roll call vote. I will start with Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Mullen? No. Commissioner Kennedy?
No.
Commissioner Tindaro?
No.
3 noes? Does not pass.
We might have to cancel the event because advertising went out. A lot of advertising went out. And this was no surprise to anybody. This was presented to Parks and Rec. It was in proposals that you saw months ago.
And this was
This
on
could have
tonight's,
been slowed down
this
and
is on
stopped.
tonight's agenda.
Well, Mr. Mullen, this could have been discussed for a long time leading up to now. You know, this is kind of like a torpedo.
This is my first time hearing it.
Jane, we presented this at
let's
Parks
move
and
on.
Rec.
Let's move on. We're done
I
discussing.
didn't hear it at Parks and Rec.
Well,
Right.
you were there.
Let's
I
move
was
on.
not there.
We are done. Let's move on. Next on the agenda, Commissioner or Township Manager.
Next on the agenda, and this has been presented at prior meetings. 4.8 is acknowledge Civil Service Commission revised rules resolution. This was presented to the board. It was discussed at the Civil Service Commission meeting, and we do have the chair of the Civil Service Commission here this evening.
George.
And I know our Director Stackhouse has worked very hard on putting this together along with the Civil Service Commission. Essentially, this is to accommodate paid fire and incorporate paid fire into the Civil Service Commission rules, regulations, and authority.
Yeah, commissioners, I would certainly defer to Chairman Marsh, but just to give you a quick background, at the last meeting I presented a draft change to the Civil Service Commission. Actually, I should say amendment. It wasn't really a change. We just made amendments that incorporated the paid fire staff, which is required to be hired by civil service. Now that we're at three career firing, those changes were vetted through Chairman Marsh, and they had a meeting the other week, so I'll let him speak to that.
Yes, thank you. I'm
Welcome, George.
March, the chairman of the Allen Township Civil Service Commission. The rules, the Pennsylvania rules for first-class township code, provide for Civil Service Commission to include language about police departments and police officers, also about fire departments and firefighters. The former rules did not include any language at all about fire department or firefighters. So over the past couple of months, I would offer public thanks to Ray Stackhouse, Kristen Camp, for their very helpful, informative, and professional relationship with the Civil Service Commission while we brought the firefighter and fire department language into the Civil Service and revised and are now adoption.
The only thing I would add is that the Civil Service Board, read those changes, made a motion, and that passed, unanimously. And we're just asking for the board to basically ratify their vote.
Commissioners, any questions on this? Questions? Reach out to residents. Any residents here in the township building? Any questions? None at this time. Anyone from Zoom? Entertain a motion to acknowledge the Count Township May 22nd, 2024 revised Civil Service Commission resolution. So moved. Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Very much, George.
Thank you.
Next, we have in a similar vein, the Civil Service Commission under code allows for 3 alternates on that board. With the expansion and inclusion of paid fire and the adoption of the updated rules, there was consideration towards allowing or approving 2 additional alternates with firefighting experience and background in order to serve as alternates on that important board. Those individuals attended the applicants for the position attended the Civil Service Commission board meeting in May, and I know the commissioners had an opportunity to meet with them earlier this week. 4.9 would be to appoint the individuals as alternates to the Civil Service Commission board.
Commissioners, any questions on this?
I would just note both have fire experience
Right.
and have been with the township in some capacity for some time, either the township or the fire department.
Oh, they were both excellent candidates.
They were both
Excellent
attended the
candidates.
Civil Service Commission meeting, introduced themselves, gave us a full history of their background. Civil Service Commission members currently existing would appreciate their addition to the Civil Service Commission as always.
And how many folks do we already have on the civil board? 3?
Civil Service Commission consists of three permanent and 1 alternate at the present time. It's permitted to add 2 more alternates.
Okay, perfect. Commissioners, any other comments for the 2 candidates we have in mind?
No.
They're
They're
great
good candidates.
individuals.
Couldn't ask for 2 better guys for this position. So, all right, entertain a motion to appoint Michael Murphy and Ron Miller as Civil Service Commission alternates for the 2024 to 2029 term.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Tenero, second by Commissioner Young. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. Appreciate you coming in. Oh, do we have one more thing?
We do. Yes.
Oh,
The
okay.
Civil Service Commission's been very active this month.
Forgot tonight's a long meeting.
Um,
Next on the agenda, 410.
410, this is a request from the Civil Service Commission for board approval of the Civil Service Commission official eligibility list and the certification of police applicants. And I will defer to Chair and Chief to address any questions related to the process, procedure, and the list itself.
Civil Service Commission adopted the eligibility list consisting of 5 members at this point. Our understanding is that you are requesting certification to fill 3 vacancies. And the Civil Service Commission rules require that the number of vacancies plus 2 be certified. So considering the fact that you are hiring 3, we need to certify 5 names. There are only 5 names on the list. Our eligibility list is now certified to you for consideration.
All right, Commissioners, any questions on the list? Not entertain a motion to approve the Civil Service Commission official eligibility list and certification of police applicants.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, George. What do we have next?
411, this is a request for the board approval of conditional hiring of officers. Of course, the officers under consideration would be those on the list just approved.
Commissioners, any questions on the list or the applicants? We will consider offering conditional offers. I'm going to say no. And residents here in the township, any questions? None at this time. Zoom. I keep looking at the text thinking someone's chiming in. I will entertain a motion to approve the conditional hiring offers to, and I apologize if I blunder it, but Jablonski and Polig.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
I hadn't said aye yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yes, aye.
Thank you. That is 5-0. 412?
412, this is a request for board approval of a conditional hiring offer pursuant to a cadet sponsorship agreement. This is going through the academy.
Excellent. Commissioners, any questions?
No.
No questions at this time. Questions from residents? None at this time. None in Zoom. Entertain a motion to approve conditional hiring offer to, apologize, Oxidine. Thank you. Oxidine Costello pursuant to a cadet sponsorship agreement.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Young. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Next on the agenda, that was it.
Thank you very much,
Don,
Commissioners.
thank you
That's
so
all I
much.
have.
That was
Thank
a
you,
lot of work.
Don.
Good job.
Right along. It's only 9 o'clock. Board minutes to approve. This is May 9th, 2024. Commissioners, any comments, suggestions, changes needed? If not, entertain a motion.
Yeah, there were some things in there I'm not comfortable voting on today. Yeah, I say we table them.
Okay. Entertain a motion to table.
Moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kennedy, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor? Say aye.
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 They've been tabled. Next on the agenda. Finance Department. We don't have Lisa?
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Lisa.
Lisa.
Good evening, Commissioners.
How are you?
Doing fantastic.
But any
She
any
does
updates
sound
on
like
the
she's on a box.
any updates on the Finance Department?
The Finance Department is doing well. The April financials are in your packets. Again, I'm happy to report that the fund balances are in great standing. Our total revenues overall are about 45% collected, and expenses are coming in at about 30%. So that is perfect for this year-to-date time frame. In the packet, you will also see that the financials have been updated to incorporate the other pieces of the annual tax bill so that you have a full accounting and transparency for that revenue coming in. The numbers that are in there now are April, so that was the beginning of tax season. Those will be updated with a lot more numbers come our June meeting, which will be for May financials, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Right. Lastly, I have our audit is going well for the township. I hope to have that report for the June commissioners meeting. It's taking a little bit longer than anticipated, as the auditors are now required to look into contracts that have to do with IT, AI, any type of technical related programs. Many of those stipulate different aspects like the cloud. So they're taking a deeper look into those contracts, safety reasons as far as financial. So that's taking a little bit longer, but we should be in compliance fully. And that is my report.
All right, Commissioners, any questions for Lisa? Very good job, Lisa. I appreciate the work.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, you and your whole department.
They're awesome.
They are. All right, we do have a check run to approve. Commissioners, any questions on the check run? I did have a few questions, but I sent them over to Lisa and she was able to answer them for me. So I am satisfied. If there's no other questions, entertain a motion to approve the check run 52018 to 52132 with an manual check of 303.
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Tadero, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right. Checks have been approved.
Okay, Lisa, I'm hanging up on you now.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye.
Good night, commissioners. I'm still hanging on in case there's any questions.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Moving on to meat and potatoes, we have the director's report. Hey, I see we have building life and safety first.
Just lucky to have a B in my title, I guess. Commissioners, you have my report in front of you. I will just give you actually a couple highlights. A lot of activity at summertime from a code enforcement perspective. We continue to try to, work with residents to get to resolutions as opposed to, notices and citations. But we're a large community, so unfortunately that does happen. So we're working through that. Commercial fire inspection programs are active this time of year, so we're working through all of those. We did, from an emergency management standpoint, we did attend a tabletop exercise. All emergency services did at 1635 Lincoln Highway, which is our learning center. The county participated, and we went through their emergency operations plan. So I believe they've been reaching out to us. We're trying to participate a little more often in some tabletop exercises. We did have another one this month that we'll report out on next month. FEMA, I actually do believe that maybe we're getting somewhere. I had a conversation with FEMA a couple weeks ago. They gave me an amount that they were obligating for all of our projects. That amount was not what I anticipated, so I questioned that. I had another meeting with multiple reps from FEMA and PEMA just the other day, and they agreed with me, and they're resubmitting 2 of the projects for additional money. They thought there should have been additional money there. So, we're making some progress, so I'm hoping maybe we'll see a little bit more here in the near future. Emergency services, obviously, the Civil Service Act, since it's moved forward, we actually have a firefighter testing July 30th. After that testing, then, we'll move on to, that'll be physical agility written. Then whoever's successful after that will move on to oral interviews and take that next step forward. That's the biggest thing. I guess the last thing to report is I did report out on and I'm sure the chief will talk about the fire we had on Kings Highway. As I reported before, that fire is still burning. I did contact DEP the day of the fire. DEP visited the site. They did follow up with me, and they really weren't sure what to do. They made some recommendation on best practices for what was occurring that allowed the fire to happen. I did contact DEP again the other day, and I had a meeting on site yesterday or the day before with 3 DEP representatives at the fire site. We did contact the owner. He came out. The owner has been very cooperative the entire time. The owner has a fire watch almost 24 hours a day. They are adding dirt and water on a regular basis to the fire. DEP's opinion, he's doing everything that he should be, and we don't have a resolution. I mean, the bottom line is it's probably going to burn for a long, long time. It is contained. We're comfortable with how it's contained, and we don't feel that it'll spread any further than it is. But it's just where it's at. It's just unsafe to do much of anything else. To that point, I did let the owner know that there's a lot of other issues on the property that need resolved. We've known for a long time. We've just been waiting for an opportunity to get access to the site to be able to address the issues. I didn't want to kick him while he was down. I mean, he's under a lot of scrutiny now. But I did the other day when I was there with DEP. He knows we're going to have a meeting to quantify what's going on the property and get our hands around it. I mean, he understands that there's problems. So we'll continue to work through that. Lastly, we had another multi-municipal EMS committee meeting. We're still working with Minquist to make long range plans. I'm happy to say, and Commissioner Young can certainly speak on it since he's the co-chair of that group. We are making headway, I think, as a regional group from the municipal group and the fire company, the ambulance. The time will come, we have budget coming up, so, some hard work is in front of us, but that group continues to move forward. Found it?
All right. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. Ingleside Golf Course. Nicole, how are you this evening? So good to see you.
You too. I'm always great. Good evening. You guys have a report for me this time around? Last time I didn't get one to you, but so April was slow out of the gate. It was wet. It was still cold. Nothing like last year where it was already 90 degrees by April. So that's why the numbers are a little low, but we finished really strong, and May's been awesome. So that's good. And that slow start kind of delayed all of our projects around the clubhouse. Mulch was finally delivered this week, so we'll get to mulching the clubhouse beds, the sign on Geo Carlson and North Bailey, and our perennial plantings will go in at the sign and at the clubhouse. Our mulch beds, that'll get done between tomorrow and Monday for the weekend. We've had a lot of feedback on the golf course in the last month or so, online and in person. Been encouraging people to put the things they're telling me in person on the internet, so that others can see it and want to come play our club. So a lot of good comments, mixed comments, which is good because it helps us address specific issues on the golf course. Our staff is still thin but working very hard. Still having mechanical issues with most of our equipment, but the golf carts are still running perfectly. And we've had April finished with over 1,700 rounds of golf, and much more so far this month. So it's fun. We're having fun.
Well, that's good. Commissioners, any comments, questions for Nicole?
I'm thrilled with everything you're doing over there, and you really have a great handle on things.
I appreciate it.
I am going to ask an uncomfortable question.
Sure.
How much beer is sold and wine are sold over there?
No wine.
Just beer. How much?
Just beer. Total beer sales. I do not have that figure right now. I can certainly get it to you. Our food and beverage revenue.
Right.
I don't know that it's specifically broken down into beer actually, but I can try to pull that up.
Thank you. It's not a rush, but would you agree that it's usually pretty hot on the golf course?
It is. I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do well.
And but it's hot weather on the golf course in the summer generally.
So in the summer, so we do much better with our energy drinks and Powerades and hydrating drinks in the summer, but a cold beer is nice. Typically they come in after their round and enjoy the beer. Now that the lounge is open, they can try not to send them over there, but we can host them as well. But yeah, no, beer sales are good, and now our beverage cart is finally up and running. So we're selling.
I heard you have a new female running the beverage cart.
We hired a beverage cart attendant, and she's killing it already. She'll be a little more active this summer, especially on the weekends. And it's just another opportunity for revenue. and another opportunity to make a good impression on first-time golfers. We need them to come back.
I do want to make one comment because you included in your report some of the comments from
Just,
the
just
golfers.
a few. I mean, there's a lot.
Could you share them here? Because it sounds great. It's great stuff for the people to hear out there.
Sure.
Getting a positive message out is so important.
What I noticed about the comments is not only did they compare last year to this year, they're seeing the great improvements you're doing. Kudos to you and your staff. But what caught my ear as I read it is the fact that they came back. And I think that we owe you a debt of gratitude. Let me spit that out. Because the fact that they actually came back to try the course again after what we went through last year just says.
Yeah, our staff worked very hard to assure golfers that were complaining initially that we can recover from this. We will recover from this, and I think that we're almost there. I won't say we're there, but we're definitely getting closer. So we just tried to assure them as much as we could last year that this is going to be fine. I can grow grass, so we'll get it back, and they believed me, and they're back, so it's nice. And I anticipate with stuff like this on the internet, I anticipate our numbers to climb and climb and climb. And now with the increase in the amount of golfers we can host because of the new golf carts, revenue should shoot up. And that's what I hope.
Nicole, thank you so much.
Good job.
Of course.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Minquist Fire Company.
So actually, Minquist did have somebody, they had a staffing change at the last minute, but Matt Wagner was online. He was the one texting me.
Yes.
Oh,
So he apologizes. You do have his report in
Okay.
your packet, but unfortunately he can't talk to you.
Okay. That's fine. Matt, thanks. Thanks for the report
Thank
and all the
you.
help here at the township. Police Chief.
Evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi, Chief.
First, thank you for the hiring offers. In my 11 years here, I can't recall an eligibility list where we had this many qualified applicants that at the end of the process, we determined would be a great fit for Callan Township. It's a lengthy process from the time we advertise until we get to this point, about 6 months. To put a sponsor a cadet, 12 months. A lot goes in behind the scenes, especially this time around because we're hiring 3. Couldn't have done it without the support of the manager. Lisa Swan was paramount in ensuring it would fit within the parameters of this year's budget. Chairman March and Civil Service took a lot to get to this point, so again, thank you. And there's still more testing to go. They still have physical, psych, drug. Probably be sometime in July until we actually get them started. But on behalf of all of my officers, thank you.
So welcome.
There was a, just following up on a citizen complaint from last meeting about Gio Carlson speeding and whether there were sufficient number of speed limit signs. So we checked, and the current signage for speed limits is consistent with the requirements of the vehicle code. It's got to be at least every half mile. It's a township road. If the board were to request or determine they wanted to add speed limit signs, it's certainly within your prerogative. The current posting is within that half mile requirement that's in the vehicle. Then based on the speeding complaint for the last month, we had the speed trailers deployed. So I'm just going to go through this real quick. Posted speed limit is 35. The average speed, both eastbound and westbound, range between 33 and 35 miles per hour. The 85th percentile speed was consistent with the current posted speed. Traffic volume eastbound 70,000, almost 71,000 cars. Westbound almost 84,000 cars. The percentage of violators, meaning vehicles traveling above the posted speed limit, was about 1% of all of those vehicles, both eastbound and westbound. There's some high speeds in that 1%.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly. Yeah.
Don't we need her to say her name and her address?
Really help.
Well, thanks for saying that. So another thing that because they collect the data. So the speed trailer westbound, which was at Thornbridge, resulted in about a 25% reduction in speeds. And then the one eastbound, which we had at the area of the links, almost a 50% reduction in speed.
Wow.
So
Noticed.
yeah, they are. It's
One day
it's
the
noticeable.
cop car was sitting right by the speed. I mean, they were going 25. That sure they were. Empty cop car there.
No, thanks for saying that. Yeah. I mean, we talk about it all the time. You know, we're handicapped by the fact that local police in Pennsylvania can't use radar. We don't do two-man speed operations anymore because by the time we would set up the equipment, an officer would get called away. So right now we utilize the lines painted on the road 100 feet apart, and it's a one officer operation. So every time we want to do speed enforcement, we have to paint lines. And I'm not saying that's not doable, but the entire township would be striped for the number of speeding complaints we get. But look, we will keep up our enforcement efforts and the use of the speed trailers on the road. Last thing, real quickly, in my monthly report, I indicated some statistics about our responses to the Chester County Intermediate Unit. From the beginning of the school year in September through the end of April, I reported 329 service calls and anticipated that by the end of the school year, we would be in the area of 378. We've already surpassed 400.
Wow.
And that does not include child line investigations, which are child abuse investigations. This isn't school year numbers. This is just year-to-date numbers, January through today, 38 child line investigations. So that's on top of the 400 and some service calls that we've already had there. It is not sustainable. And it is usurping resources from the rest of the township that I feel like we are taking away from our residents and businesses.
Like speed enforcement.
What's that?
Like speed
Yep.
enforcement.
Yeah. So anyway, again, to the manager's credit, to Ray's credit, we have had meetings with leadership at the intermediate unit. Ray mentioned we attended 2 tabletops unrelated to this issue. They dealt with external threats, not internal. We've had other departments covering the township while our entire department has been down there handling incidents. Amtrak has had to suspend service because students that eloped were on the railroad tracks. We've had students stopping traffic on Lincoln Highway, causing disturbances, and the McDonald's on the west end. The previous highest year total was 250, and that was in the 18-19 school year when they were at full enrollment. They're well below full enrollment, and our numbers are where they're at. So we've got to figure out a path forward because we can't sustain it.
Yes,
And
we do.
We're not going to hire additional officers just for that. And that wasn't the point of the hiring considerations tonight. There to fill existing vacancies or anticipated vacancies. I don't have an answer for you. Again, I think we're going to continue to work with leadership at the intermediate unit and try to find a path. I didn't.
It looked like Don wanted to chime in.
No, the only thing I'll add is I'm very thankful for the response of the police department and the professionalism of Chief and Director Stackhouse and working towards a solution on this. We will continue to meet with leadership there over the summer, and we intend to have a plan in place to resolve this before the school year begins in the fall.
Keep us posted.
Michelle. That's all I have unless the board has any questions of me.
Commissioners, any questions?
What time do you think you'll get home?
What's that?
What time do you think you'll get home tonight?
I serve at the pleasure of the board.
The only thing I wanted to say is maybe in your next reports, the milestones, we can highlight them because Staff Sergeant Nate Miller crossed 18 years of service in this last report. So maybe if you have milestones, could you highlight them for us?
Be more than glad to. Thank you.
Thanks for pointing that out. All right. Next on the agenda, we have Public Works. Johnny, how are you tonight?
Doing good. How's everyone? Good evening. Short and sweet. All the parks seem to be in order, you know, getting taken care of, clean, things that need to be taken care of, we're taking care of. Put up some new volleyball nets for Lloyd Park, and it's not on the report, but it's actually being rented out. People want to be down at Lloyd Park now and, you know, use the pavilions and the space down there. So that's a good thing. Road maintenance, you know, we just up here on Municipal and Geo put crosswalk signs. If you haven't noticed, we put new crosswalk signs for the crosswalks that was really needed there. So keep this public safe crossing the road on the high-speed roads that the chief take care of. Infrastructure, just maintaining the roads, trying to keep potholes at bay and stuff like that until we can get to them, you know, pave over and patching them this summer. And that's on the plan. And our big project down at Glen Ridge is going well. You know, Earth is fighting us a little bit, but, you know, slow and steady, we're getting it. That's all I have.
Sir.
I did see the signs. I saw the Thorn Ridge one too.
Yes.
They look good. So thank you for putting them up.
Talking about signs, maybe you can help me out because Ray never did. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. Yeah, the Calhoun Township sign at Geo Carlson at 340. The white paint itself can just be touched up. It's looking a little hard. I guess the colored portion of it, Ray was hoping Denron or somebody else was going to take care of that, but
definitely look into it.
If you could
clean up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
Thank you. Yeah, Ray would just ignore me.
I don't jump in that
Oh, hey, on the back page here, Thorndale Fire Company, Pat, welcome.
Good evening. I'll keep this fairly brief as well. Ray kind of stole the thunder with the fire we had. So if you've not followed our Facebook page or anything, it was a fairly large compost fire that we were alerted to in early morning hours. I don't remember the exact date, but arrived to find a large compost fire on the side of a hill. After we've kind of did some initial suppression and investigation, just deemed it was one unsafe for others to operate around. We did, unfortunately, one of our members did get injured on the scene, was treated and released, thank God. But to avoid any other injury or anything to anybody else. The other problem that we were going to have by dumping hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of gallons of water, was we could potentially then create issues within the Beaver Creek tributary that is not just for here, but Downingtown and so on and so forth. So it's kind of tough. I know we see fire, we have to put it out, but to mitigate much bigger issues, especially when it comes to contamination of the Beaver Creek, which is a pretty big tributary for this area, we kind of had to just like let it burn and let it do its thing. I know it was kind of smoky up there for quite a number of days. We were kind of hoping the rain was going to settle it down. Unfortunately, the rain didn't cooperate with us, and just kind of created some more smoke. But we, as Ray alluded to, we feel it is safe up there. There's no immediate danger to any structures or anything like that. So that was kind of the big item for April. And then the good news, back on April 11th, we did take delivery and ownership of the new utility chassis that was approved by all of you back in November of last year. So the next step is we're just waiting for the body to get built and put on, and unfortunately we don't have a timeline for that yet. So, but making progress and hope to have that soon to serve the township for another 15, 20 years. Otherwise, that's all I had.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. And that's the end of the director's report. We have additional business. Any additional business? Nope. This time, we now open up for public comment. Come on up. Just state your name and address. It's 250.
Okay.
250 seltzer,
Rich,
right?
And what do you need?
250 seltzer?
250
Yes,
seltzer.
okay.
Yes. Right around the corner from you. I'm just, I wanted to express my concern for the stormwater issue that we are having in Colonial Gardens. I mean, it's still ongoing. I know back in March, there was some activity with the cameras, cameraing some of the pipes and whatnot. And my property in particular, I hate to make it about me, but it is, this part of it is, the fellow that was doing the carrying, and I don't know the company name, I asked him what he thought, and he cambered the whole pipeline that went through the whole length of my property and then over to Watson Avenue. And he said, yes, this is for sure a Callan Township wastewater pipe that was installed.
Stormwater.
Stormwater.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just to correct that.
That's okay. By, Callan Township many years ago. I don't know. He didn't have a year, but he had paperwork. So, I just was wondering if anything, any reports have been submitted or anything's going to.
Yeah. Don, let me.
I have an open right now, it's been
Oh, do you
2
have
years
the
now.
sinkhole?
Yes.
That opened up?
Yes, and it's to the point now where I'm having an issue trying to cut grass because I don't know how close I can get to it because you just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They could give way at any time and be bigger. I can't let my kids, little grandkids play in the backyard anymore. It's unsafe for them. It's unsafe for my animals. I have wood right now over the sinkhole, but it's not ideal.
Don, just to give you, I guess, bring you up to speed, her backyard, there's a stormwater pipe that comes, Watson, is it, on the other side? Watson,
Yes,
behind your
starts
house?
at Watson.
And it comes through the properties and exits onto Seltzer right in front of her house. So it's
But it comes within 2 feet of my house, whereas
as
that's
it
where
passes,
my well water is. Oh,
and there's a sinkhole that's
it's rather large.
in her backyard, pretty much where the pipe is.
Years now.
So during Ross's, and Ray, I don't know if you can chime in, during Ross's inspections of the stormwater system, by chance, was he part of the checking out that pipe?
So absolutely. So, Gilmore, as you know, we contracted Gilmore to do a stormwater evaluation of all public infrastructure stormwater and stormwater that at least led to township infrastructure. That report actually we're hoping to have for next month's meeting. That report will look similar to our road program. Okay. So basically they are to the point where, if you remember, we had Arrow do the initial report. Arrow did some mapping, then we engaged Gilmore to finish that mapping and do some lamping and TVing some of that infrastructure. So until we, obviously until we get that report, we don't know, just like the road program, for us to start anywhere because, as I do understand, I'm well familiar with the residents' concern. It's one of probably hundreds that we have in Callan Township, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I'm not would never make light of anybody's problem, but until we have an evaluation, we don't know which ones to go after, and we don't know which ones are township property. So
In other words, the prioritizing of the issues. Yeah.
right, and this will be the first time, at least in the 20 years that I've been here, that I'm aware of, that we've had a full evaluation of all of our stormwater infrastructure, and we can have that category of which ones need immediate attention, which ones can, we can plan for. So, hopefully, like I said, by next month, we'll have that report, a full report for the board.
Okay. And Don, I'd love you to come out and take a look at it too. I had a chance to walk. I guess it's been about a year.
It's been about a year and a half.
Yeah.
About a year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now
and
FEMA was out.
And FEMA came out to take a look
FEMA
as well.
was out, looked, because I had the water down the basement, the water level at 4.5 feet. So I lost all my house equipment. The hot water heater and the sump pump, the washer, and the dryer, and everything that's down in the basement that makes the house run. Lost it all, and that was just a regular rain, a heavy rain, but a regular. So I can't.
But I believe the sinkhole is getting worse.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And now it's like I said, I have wood pallets covering it, so that no animals or little kids or whatever can fall in. Because once you fall in, you can't get out.
Right.
I mean,
And the other issue is if something fills it, you're going to have a terrible backup on that pipe as well.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So
So I haven't done anything but mark it
Mhm.
to keep, keep everybody safe that does venture back there. Like I said, it's hard even to mow the lawn because you don't know how close you can get. Could swallow up you and the tractor in a matter of seconds.
And I do apologize. I did get your voicemail.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I was on vacation, and when I got back from back
You were
from
on
vacation,
vacation.
I totally forgot.
That's
So I'm
okay.
glad you showed up.
That's okay.
But Don, can we make arrangements?
If after the meeting, if I could receive your contact information at a time that's convenient for you, I'd love to be able to come out and
Okay.
and do it
Okay. I'd
myself.
be happy to show you.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. Anytime. Anybody.
Donna, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had brought this to the former township manager a number of times, and
Oh,
didn't she
starting
always
in
insist that there was no
2011,
way
I
it was the township's responsibility and that it was yours?
They told me it was my responsibility that I put the pipe in.
Yeah.
I said, no,
Yeah.
he did not put the pipe in.
Yeah,
I know who
that's-
put the pipe in.
Yeah.
And he was a commissioner, a Callan Township commissioner,
Mhm.
many, many years ago. His name, what was it? Yeoman.
Mhm.
He put that pipe, or he commissioned to have that pipe put in. He didn't physically do it himself when the rest of them were going in. And
Yeah.
I can bring a witness that
No,
was
I
legal.
apologize to you for being misled by the former township manager. You went through hell
Yeah.
instead of someone saying, let's investigate this. So,
That's all I wanted at the
I know.
time was somebody to
Yeah.
come out and pick,
Yeah.
camera it and
mhm.
let's just see, I know it's a township connection. If you just take a look at it, I mean, and I'm no engineer, but it's quite obvious. All done at the same time. A homeowner did not do that connection. There's no way that could have ever happened.
I hope this gets resolved for you.
I hope so too. Because it's hard not to be able to use the majority of your property.
I mean, you shouldn't have to pay your taxes if you can't use your property. Seriously. I mean, like, if you can't use your property because of something that was caused by the township and was denied, they kept denying responsibility.
They kept denying it.
I mean, really, in a perfect world.
In fact, I have a letter with me actually that Kristen drew up
Yeah.
for me years ago, just for you guys to enter onto the property
Mhm.
and investigate it that way, but that never went anywhere, so.
Well, we're taking stormwater very seriously,
Yeah, I
as you can
know.
tell. Some
And then the last newsletter had those pictures. Ah, that's what's under my yard. I know it. I know it.
Oh, sure.
So,
All right. Well, Donna, thank you so much.
Chris,
Chris, you said Donna. I was
Yeah.
going off of Donna.
I'll answer it.
There's Donna. Hi, Donna.
Hi, Donna.
All right, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh,
Any other public comment? Yes. Now we have Donna.
Dawn, you're on speaker.
Oh, great. Thanks, Donna. Oh boy, you're echoing on my.
Yeah, Dawn, you need to turn your microphone off on your computer.
Dawn, can you turn your mic off on your end?
I will try. Hold on.
Or walk away from your computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, first of all, I just want to give a shout out to Paul Mullen for taking stormwater seriously. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate your statement, and I'm looking forward to that happening in our community. And I just want to respectfully acknowledge the vote of the Board of Commissioners tonight regarding the alcohol usage at the proposed picnic at the Spackman Davis Farm. However, I also wish to acknowledge the response of the Cowan community to this picnic idea, how fun everything sounds, and what I'm hearing from people in the community is that they are really embracing this idea of the largest picnic table in Chester County happening right here in the heart of Chester County in Cowan Township. They love the idea of live music. They love being able to be on the beautiful grounds of the Spackman Davis Farm that they've only been able to see from afar for so many years. I also want to add that Marianne Griffith, who agreed to sell this property to the township with the idea of this area being preserved for the future generations, will be in attendance, and she's really looking forward to it. She's very excited about it. And as a member of the Cowan Township Historic Commission, and as president of the Historical Society, I just want to say that I fully embrace this idea, and I am looking forward for a way for us to promote Cowan Township and historic preservation to the historic preservation community here in Chester County. And I just want to say, I hope that everybody comes and registers. There is a point on the Spackman Davis Farm 501c3 website for people to register and come. And I just want to say thank you to all the commissioners for considering this and for all of your input and the fact that you have given as much of your attention as you have to the progression of the Spackman Davis Farm at this point. Earlier in the meeting this evening, you all talked about embracing the idea of a new roof for the farmhouse, and I'm just really excited for things that are happening here, and I'm really looking forward to the picnic. And I would like to suggest that perhaps we ask the farmhouse to come, one of the newest businesses that's embraced Cowan Township, to provide some maybe specialty espresso drinks or some refresher drinks that are non-alcoholic, like those that are offered at Starbucks. And people can bring their own beverages. I'm looking forward to bringing some seltzers myself. I love flavored seltzers. So thank you all, and I know it's very late, so I'm going to sign off. Good night.
Dawn, I appreciate your support on everything, but unfortunately, I will have to discuss with the 501c3, but I think they're going to have to cancel the event or risk being sued for false advertising. People have already purchased tickets with the understanding that there will be a local winery there. So, we'll have to find another way to move forward. We'll lose whatever money went into it already, but I think that's what we're going to have to do.
Thank you, Don, for your comments. Appreciate that. All right. Any other public comment at this time? Yes, Tom.
Tom Parr, 582 Lloyd Avenue.
Then I'll make those
Microphone.
things tall enough for you.
Really? No, I won't do that. I really think you're not going to like this. You should think about doing a review. I've gutted picnic. But he talked to me about this. Mark will probably get mad at me anyway. And I've missed a couple of meetings being ill the last couple of weeks. But meeting or the picnic, that was a large part of the picnic. And the assurances have been given by Wrestler, I think it is, and by the township to assure the three of you that everything is covered. I don't see where the problem is. I really don't. As Mark said, picnic's going to be canceled, and that is a smear on our township, especially for people who have already seen it online. That's it. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Tom. Okay, any other
Thank you,
public
Tom.
comment?
You hit it right on the head.
None here in the township building. Any in Zoom? All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
No moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting
Aye.
adjourned.